You got the hat squared away.
Yeah. Covering, my face is usually more shadowy.
Sure. We look a lot different now, this show. Things have changed. Obviously, I had the no hair on the head. Billy comes back, does me one better, no hair on the face. Is it cold?
It was cold. It's getting a little better.
Yeah.
I had a fight with a razor and lost.
So what happened? Was it you messed up and you're like, fuck?
Yeah, I kind of messed up because my clippers, I don't have an attachment for the right length that I like to keep my beard.
Mm-hmm.
So I do this like hover maneuver over, and I went on a little bit of an angle, and then I went too deep, and then it was like patchy and blotchy.
Gotcha. You don't have the clip.
Yeah.
Had
an abort.
I have a friend back home who at one point wanted to cut hair, him and another friend. And the original guy has really shaky hands. So we were like, what the fuck? Why? What makes you think you could do this? And long story short, he quit that. But he had all those clips. He had all that. And now after shaving, do you think you're going to keep up with it or you're going to grow it back out?
I'm going to grow it back out.
Okay.
Yeah. I already started the process.
Yeah, because I had to buy a whole razor for my head. Because the one I use currently kind of snags, and I don't want the top of my head all cut up.
Do you like do an actual shave, or you just do the electric?
I do the electric, and I've gotten into the habit of hitting it immediately with the Aqua Velva. You got to use the Aqua Velva.
Is that kind of like Nair?
No, it's the aftershave. You hit it with the aftershave, and you smell like a silver fox in the 90s. You remember the Aqua Velva commercials? They were always very provocative. They would always have a...
it's like minty, right?
Yeah, it's nice. It's fresh. It's clean. It burns your skin. You cut your hair, and it burns your skin after you... But it prevents breaking out. It kind of cleans it out for the last time.
Yeah, I have a caffeinated aftershave. It feels amazing.
Yeah, I've had shampoo that has caffeine in it. You read that and you're like, this has caffeine in it?
It sounds like a bad idea, but it's supposed to be good.
It's got to be the best, right? Taking caffeine in through your head while you're rubbing your head in the shower. That's like Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix style with LSD, when he would put LSD in his headband and then he would tie it to his head and he'd be sweating so his pores would open and he would soak in LSD through his head.
Does it actually work?
I haven't tried it, but supposedly that's his thing. But if we use the same logic with the caffeine, could you essentially wash your hair so much that you don't even need coffee in the morning? Like if you dumped 2 bottles of that shit on your head and face.
You'd probably still need a fix because like your tolerance just grows and grows.
Right.
And you can only
I wonder how much that would
so
take.
much.
You could maybe fill a bath and get the sensation of like 1 cup of coffee if you filled a bath with caffeine shampoo.
It's faster to just drink the coffee.
Have you seen, I saw an ad the other day for this new supplement, this like caffeine energy supplement. It's called Bump, and it's this powder that you snort.
That's fucking retarded.
It's called, but can we find it quickly? Guys, I'm not kidding. This is a thing, and if they want to sponsor the show, then, we'll do it. Because it's not cocaine, but it is called Bump. And it's this white, like, caffeine powder.
I'm not used to typing with this here. It's an adjustment.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for those not watching the show, which you should be, but if you're just listening, we have some advancements. Billy was kind enough to bring in some arms. Look at that. See? Big energy, anytime, anywhere. Pull that up. Show the people at home about Bump. They've been telling us for years doing cocaine is bad. But if some guy in a basement comes up with this idea, look at that. It literally says, want a bump. Instant energy.
I think that's the full name. I don't think it's just called Bump. I think it's called Wanna Bump.
Wanna Bump is your quick hit turbocharged energy booster. Snortable, all natural, and perfectly legal.
Wanna Bump is the full name.
That's how you know it's good. When in the first words on their website it says perfectly legal. It has to say that. And it's a clever blend of caffeine and what? Inositol. Designed to be a pick-me-up. Think of it as lightning bolt in a 1 gram vial. in a 1 gram vial.
You gotta go off to the side.
Even the way and it's only $10. That's not.
Is that just for a bump though? How many is in that?
Oh, right, huh? Well, it is
because a coffee's like $4.
It could still be
single vial. So
sure. A single vial is what's in there. It's 1 gram. I think that's what it said. 1 gram, and then there's a spray. So if you feel weird about snorting it, you can spray it.
Inositol is a form of sugar naturally produced to provide structure to cells. Okay,
so it's
like,
sugar.
Yeah, it's like glucose or whatever.
You're blowing. You're doing sugar and caffeine. You're snorting it.
Did you ever do those packets? It was literally just packets of sugar. I forgot what you fucking call them.
Okay,
I'm drawing a blank. But if you ever snorted them, it fucking hurt really bad.
And it would get you all hopped up.
It was candy, and you usually just drink
like Fun Dip.
Similar, but it was in like a straw. It was like a sugar straw. Pixie sticks.
Pixie sticks.
Yep.
So if you sniffed Pixie sticks, you'd get fucked up.
It would just hurt.
It would hurt.
It would just hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, I would guess. Now, how long before these are given out on Halloween? Because that's what I'm giving out on Halloween. I'm giving out
caffeine bumps.
Wanna bump containers. There's a little gram vial. That is hilarious that they call it that. Now let's see. It says, "Let's address the elephant in the room." Right up above the picture. I want to click on that.
Down?
Let's see what that says. We understand that the elephant in the room. We talk about a product, about snorting a product, and want to address it head on. Yes, bump is a powder
Am I blocking you?
that is snorted, but no, it is not what you might be thinking. Our mission is to provide a fast, effective energy boost when you need it most. We're not in the business of pushing boundaries irresponsibly or promoting illicit substances. This is written by the Mexican cartel. Instead, we've taken a well-known FDA-recognized ingredient, caffeine. I love when they throw FDA in there. And another naturally occurring substance, inositol, and found an innovative way to deliver their benefits quickly and efficiently. Okay.
I feel like we should try it.
Yeah, maybe we should order some. We'll do them on the show next week. And we go for like 3 hours. Just talking about nothing. Wow.
Bypasses the digestive process.
You don't have to digest it. Bang.
You
goes
don't get
right
the coffee
to the head.
Shits?
No coffee. That's the best part of the coffee.
We tested next week. Don't gotta drive home. I'm pulling over. Like, they're full of shit.
Yeah, right. And I mean, I've never done cocaine, but I've always heard when you do cocaine, you have to shit right after too. So you bypass both with this. You don't have to shit at all. There's no coke shits and there's no digest.
No coffee shits.
No coffee shits. All right. Hey, I mean, they're selling me. They're selling me a little bit. You know, when they said FDA recognized, I'm like, then this has to be good. I know this isn't, the FDA hasn't gone in and said that this is good yet, but they have said that Oreos are good. So,
did they?
Well, I mean, they're approved. food and drug.
Borderline.
Yeah, any of that stuff that's on the shelves, it's got to be approved one way or another. So, yeah, I don't know. I thought this was an interesting, fun thing. It's like a caffeine pill, which have historically always been good.
I've seen their pouches that are kind of like dip.
Yeah.
People have those nicotine ones, but there's also like coffee grain ones.
Yes, I've wanted to try those. I feel
like that's way more tame than
this.
Than
snorting this. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else that's considered a normal product is something that you snort. There's like that shit in your nose when you have a stuffed nose. Yeah. Saline, that's it. What else is there that people are fine with? That and this. So they're kind of in an untapped market here.
There's also it's the same principle. There's these Vicks vapor rub things.
Smelling salts.
That is. I haven't done that. I did do it once in like high school.
Yeah.
But now there's crazy ones.
Yeah, they're awful. I mean, you listen to like Protect Our Parks, or anytime Joe Rogan has Theo Vaughn on, they just blast
like whiffs it.
They blast them. They got to burn out their nose hairs. They should try this next. Want a bump? Snort caffeine. Caffeine pills are already like when I was in high school, we could take this down now. But when I was in high school, there used to be kids on the football team that would crack out pre-workout and they would snort pre-workout.
Yeah, I don't think that even works, does it?
I don't think it works either because it's like that'd be like snorting crystal light and thinking it'll taste,
Or a pixie stick, yeah.
Sure. But I went when I was in the wrestling team. We went to Mount Greylock, which I think is in Western Mass, if I remember correctly. And it was a tournament, and we would stay over. And this one kid pulled out a caffeine pill and just snorted it right when because you can't bring a bunch of 16-year-olds in 2 or 3 Sprinter vans and bring them to a motel on the side of the road in western wooded Mass and expect them to handle themselves accordingly. And this one kid would, I guess, snort caffeine pills occasionally. And now he's the owner of a company called Want-A-Bump. and he, I guess he followed his own path. Now, we're, of course, fresh off of Thanksgiving and a week of extreme gluttony and mayhem. Now, what did you do for Thanksgiving?
I flew down to Florida to
That's
see my
right.
mom. And, yeah, it was good.
Nice.
I
That's
was
right.
there Thursday to Saturday.
What part of Florida?
Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, that's right. Fort Lauderdale. Can't go wrong. What did you guys eat? Did you guys do the normal shit? Oh.
Yeah, we did the turkey. She also made a ham. The potatoes, mac and cheese,
Sure.
stuffing.
Yeah. I think my gout came back after that week. Now, how about Wednesday? Did you partake in all 3 days? Because I know Black Friday.
So
You're all
Wednesday
about Black
night when I
Friday.
texted you that I shaved my face, I actually went to Fogo de Chao with my friends.
Oh, nice.
Fucking unbelievable.
How good was that?
Really good.
Where is there a Fogo de Chao?
I went to the one in Garden City.
Gotcha.
So for me, it's like 40 minutes. But I think there's actually one in Times Square.
I know they're opening one at the food hall at DeKalb, I think, in Brooklyn somewhere. There's one close to here. So did you get fucked up on Wednesday? Or you just ate like an
Ate
animal?
like an absolute glutton.
Nice.
I took an Uber there, so I did drink more than I would have if I was driving.
No, well, that's all that matters on that Wednesday, is that you get somewhat hammered.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Blackout Wednesday. That's the only holiday where the celebration's in the name.
Like my buddy lives in Rockville Center, so like I saw all these just young kids, like a mile of them outside of
amok.
one bar, just waiting to get in.
Yeah, that's the one spot where they can go in with fake IDs.
Maybe.
Probably. if they're young.
Or you know how kids are, like they see a line, they're like, that's where we have to go.
That's the one. Yeah, no, it is funny, right? We went out when I went back home to where I was, we saw a line and we're like, fuck that, we're not going in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you were 21, you may have stayed on it.
Yeah, sure. And especially in somewhere like Rhode Island, where everything closes at 1 o'clock. It's pretty fucking lame. You're going to stand on line forever. And you get in at 12, and it's fucking, you get 45 minutes because the lights come on.
Yeah, most of Long Island it's at least 2. Some places 3:30.
Yeah. Even during the week?
Yeah, and on Thanksgiving Eve,
They don't
you
give
can
a
stay
fuck.
out till like 3.
Damn. Yeah, see, so you went to Florida, you got to see your mom. Who else, was it like a big thing? Do you guys have?
My sister lives down there as well, so but my brother lives in Jersey, so he flew out also.
Nice.
Got to see my grandma, she lives down there also. And then Friday night, my brother and I got way too drunk.
Nice.
And like they had to separate us, not because like we were fighting or anything, but because we were just causing a ruckus when we were together.
Yeah. Just the bros.
I got so drunk I called my mom a faggot.
Oh, nice. She probably deserved it.
She said I can't get that drunk for another 3 years.
Damn.
So I was like, all right, mark your calendar.
Damn. I know, right? You got real hammered. You got hammered into slurs.
I think I have a video of me denying
That you said it.
denying the accuracy of Helen Keller.
Helen Keller didn't fly a plane.
What the fuck?
I'm not going to show that because
That's fantastic. Helen Keller didn't fly a plane. She could
did.
have.
She didn't.
Was that a thing? That's a thing?
Yeah, people think that Helen Keller flew a plane.
No.
Yeah. I'll show you this right now.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I thought her whole thing was that she was blind, deaf, mute,
Yeah, so, like,
the whole nine.
she couldn't have really done anything. Because if you're blind and deaf, teach me... say I'm blind and deaf. Teach me something.
Yeah. I'd have to hold your hands. I'd have to hold your hands,
And then I'd just be like, meh.
and then at the end of it, you will have learned how to hog tie a body. That's what you teach someone like that, because then they don't know what they're doing. You can get them to do illegal shit, and they have no idea because they're blind and they're deaf. But there's how many? I'm sure there's more of them now, more people in that situation now, because in these days, it was probably rare. Flew in an airplane. This was probably sick in those
This
days.
says
dude.
flying in a plane.
Yeah.
But there's, like, people who think that she flew a plane.
No. Impossible.
Oh, yeah, look. She was able to fly the aircraft using tactical sign language.
Yeah.
But if you're blind, how do you...
Yeah, Tom Hanks played her in that movie when it flew into the Hudson. She was the one who safely landed them. Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know much about this woman other than I know there's been talk of her. There's been talk of her. None that she would have heard ever.
I'm full on, like, the Helen Keller doubter train.
Like that she did anything.
Yeah.
I think she was just famous because, like what I was saying, she was the only one of her kind. And now there's more people on the planet. There has to be more deaf, mute, blind people doing way cooler shit now, I bet.
Maybe. There was that
way
old
cool
lady
shit.
who skydived.
Yeah.
Skydove.
Exactly. Jumped out of a plane. Yeah, so what I did, I went out on Wednesday night to see the boys, and it couldn't have been lamer. Like when you start going out in New York or anywhere that isn't Providence, even if you live in Boston, and Boston is pretty tame compared to New York, but even if you live there, going out in a place like either of those places, it doesn't compare. You go out in Providence and there's nobody anywhere on any given night.
Isn't there, like, this college town to it, right? Or did they just, like, stay inside and drink?
Oh, they must have, because it was fucking boring, dude. I went to 3 or 4 different places, and every place was fucking, there was nobody in them. One place was charging $5 to get in.
And then it was empty?
$5. I mean, it was empty, but the fact that they were even charging that low to get in, they're telling you that they have nothing to offer. They're telling you that this should be free, but because we have to charge something, we're going to charge you something. So for like $5 is like, okay. Like,
yeah, you're not deterring anyone.
Yeah, exactly. You know it's going to be fucking stupid. And it was. There's nothing like going back to your hometown. And this is what I was expecting. I was excited to go back to my hometown and see people that I haven't seen in a long time. People I went to high school with, maybe I was friends with them. Because that's normally what happens. Normally you go home around the holidays and you go to that town bar where you see the same people doing kind of the same thing. Not really doing much interesting anything. You know, they kind of just fell into especially when you come from a small place like I come from. And I was anticipating being in a sweaty, overcrowded place and getting my arm grabbed by some sweaty kid that I went to school with, and him just getting real close in my ear and saying, "Bro, you're so funny. You've always been so funny. You're hilarious. I love your podcast. Oh my God, you're great. Holy!" And I was just waiting for that. I was waiting for that to happen, and it didn't. And it was exciting. It was exciting, actually, because none of these places were busy. I actually didn't run into anybody that I otherwise wouldn't have. I didn't run into anyone that I wasn't planning into running into. But I was ready for that. I was ready for that because in Rhode Island, people get very used to convenience, the convenience that there is in that state. Because everybody pretty much knows everybody. It's like a small community within an entire state. It's nuts.
I avoid seeing people from high school like the absolute plague.
Isn't it nice?
Oh, it's...
Yeah.
But then when I do, it's like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. I like when I see someone from high school that I knew, but they were a dumb fuck then, and I know that they've only grown dumber with age. I like seeing them somewhere and then like going the other way. Like just scoping them out first. That's always nice. When you scope out the situation first and you see someone that the interaction is going to be strange. And
it's happened a couple times recently where it was like someone who I didn't really even talk to in high school or didn't even necessarily like, or maybe they didn't like me or weren't very nice to me in high school. And they come over and say hello, and it's just like so awkward. 'Cause,
yeah.
like, we weren't friends. Why are you saying hello to me?
Sure. Exactly. Yeah, and they're almost always doing something lame and boring that I don't want to hear about. Another thing that happens when you move to New York is you realize every other place is fucking... You're just better than everyone else, you know? Like, I've lived here for like 8 months, and I couldn't help but just walking around, like, looking at shit like, I'm just better. I've leveled up, you know? There's just something about this place that doesn't do it for me anymore. Maybe that's why I left. But yeah, I didn't have to deal with any people coming up to me, any girls that I used to know that had kids and are starting to, they haven't really gotten the mom weight off.
Like, or they're married and they're saying, "Oh yeah, we're trying to have a kid."
Yeah.
That's a big pet peeve of mine.
We're trying to have a kid?
Yeah, couples telling you that they're trying to have a kid.
Yeah.
So you're just a big cum dumpster, huh? You're just getting nutted in every night.
You're just a whore. You're just taking dicks all night. You're just taking your husband all night. And what do you mean trying? That also says something about the guy, too, If he's got real strong, hard nut, it should be once. Like, we tried and it worked.
It's never just once, though, right?
I guess. That shows how much I know about getting people pregnant. I would assume it's just like one solid shot. Bow, that's the one. But you're probably right. That's why they say the trying part. It's not as easy as you think. Maybe that's why I've never done it. And good on me. Good on me and good on everyone else. And then, so that was Wednesday. Wednesday was fucking boring. Thursday, we went to Grandma's, ate. And then Friday, I didn't, you know how I feel about Friday. I didn't do anything. So, yeah, it was all in all a pretty boring trip home. That's what that was. But I will be back next week to do stand-up. Shameless plug in the middle of the episode, if you've gotten to this point. Next week, what's the date? December 6th, Comedy Connection. Really early show. Early show on a Wednesday. That's not really, my vibe, right? Going up early. Like, it starts at 7, and it's Wednesday. So, that's like jokes about haircuts and dating. I don't know how well I'm going to do, but you should show up. It'll at least be fun. It'll be fun to hear me scream about, something. But anyway, we've got some fun stuff. There's something going on in France that's really scaring me. It's scaring me. There's a lot of scary stuff going on in the world in general, but there's something in France that it's worrisome. It's very worrisome, and it's got to do with cigarettes. Now, France, historically, they like to smoke, and it's good because it's cool when they do it. Look at that girl. She might not even be French. There's a woman sitting here with a red hat, with red lipstick, smoking a cigarette.
She's from Tucson, Arizona.
She probably is, but she's pretending to be French, which still counts. So France announced plans to create a tobacco-free generation by 2032. By 2032, they want to get rid of tobacco. The average French adult consumes 1,089 cigarettes per year. 15% of annual deaths are smoking-related. This week, France's health minister announced plans to ban smoking in beaches, parks, forests, and near schools. You can't smoke near schools anymore? What the fuck's going on? The government would also move to ban single-use disposable vapes and increase taxes so a pack costs $14 American dollars by 2026. That's pretty fucking cheap compared to $12 today. From now on, no smoking areas will be the norm, the minister said. Okay, this is dangerous. Why? What's the deal with wanting to get rid of cigarettes anyway? What's the deal, huh? What's the deal with the anti-tobacco rhetoric all over the world that's going on? As you're coughing. Stop smoking so much, Jesus! If you'd cut back. No, but that's the thing. Why is it that all over the place now tobacco is bad? Tobacco has been a part of humans for generations, a part of their lives for generations, years and years. I mean, the natives would sit around and smoke tobacco and take plant-based mushrooms. Not plant-based. Mushrooms. Those are already plant-based.
It's a bad time to tickle in my throat.
Plant-based drugs. They would sit around and they would blow smoke in each other's faces. And then the white man came and took all their tobacco and killed them. And now they want to get rid of it. I don't know why they want to get rid of it. It's something that brings people together. You know what's a real nice thing? You know what's a nice thing? Is when it's cold outside. It's cold outside and maybe you're at a bar or you're somewhere where there's a bunch of people and you go outside and you go smoke a cigarette. You go and you smoke a cigarette out in the cold and someone else comes out there. Maybe a couple people come out there. And they're like, hey, you got a light? And everyone smokes together in the cold. There's something nice about that. There's something nice about being so thoroughly addicted to something that you will brave the elements. You will stand outside. If you have the option to drink outside in the cold or drink inside in the warm, most people are gonna go inside. Until you've been legislated out of it. If they said no more drinking indoors, people will probably go, and once that happens, if that ever does happen, they will go outside and drink. But it hasn't happened yet. So all we can do is...
There's no second-hand element to it.
Well, there kind of is. You can get annoyed by some guy that's drinking too much, you know? You can get killed.
I don't think it'll ever happen.
Yeah. No. I'm not suggesting that it will. All I'm saying is that if there's legislation against it, I feel like people would they'd still partake. If they said you had to drink outside, people will drink outside.
I remember when there used to be smoking in restaurants, like when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah. It's
weird.
Great. I love watching old shit. And there's people smoking all the time. Like I'm watching Boardwalk Empire right now, and it's in the 20s,
They just smoked everywhere.
Everywhere, all the time, in a church, in a hospital, in a fucking... That's adding to this whole thing, the fact that you're coughing. It's great. Because it is essentially not good, right? It's not good, but if you're gonna... You can't have it and then take it away and legislate against it, you know? I don't like it. Historically, when you legislate against drugs, it's not good. There's illegal activity that happens all the time, right? And thank God they did it with prohibition, with alcohol, because if not, we would have no mafia references. There'd be no Italian-American mafia without prohibition. So you can thank prohibition. That's one case.
Organized crime.
That's one case where it worked out pretty good, where the organized crime worked out pretty good. But since then, you know, if you're going to be a cartel, if you're going to be a cabal of criminals, a criminal syndicate, if you will, if you're going to be that, at least be cool enough to give us some cool pieces of media. At least be cool enough to spark a genre. I mean, I guess you got Scarface and Narcos when it comes to the cocaine stuff, and there's some other ones that, you know, I don't know much about. And what's the other one with Denzel? American Gangster, right?
American Gangster's pretty good.
There you go. Heroin. There's a good one.
That was 70s though.
But it's on the Italian mafia is untouched when it comes to famous criminal groups, I think. In terms of media and there's no other genre. I guess there's Bloods and Crips and there's gang movies.
Yeah,
there's
like
type of
there's
thing.
a few like narco related movies and
Yeah.
shows.
Right. However, the people who watch those don't base their entire personality on it like Italian Americans
a
do.
little bit.
You think?
A little bit.
In what way? You think like there's...
Like they think like they'll be like Pablo Escobar
Right.
just because they rubber band their wad of singles.
Like they turn cholo on. you.
Yeah.
They walk around with just the top button.
Well, Pablo was Colombian.
Right. Yeah. But I get it.
It's not as big as the Italian thing.
Sure. Right. Because Italian mafia shit bled into other cultures. Black culture loves mafia stuff, right? Notorious fucking B.I.G. Then he was huge, and they always reference mafia shit. So I don't know how
3-6 Mafia.
3-6 Mafia, exactly, from the south.
That's a stretch.
Shout out Juicy J. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the idea of legislating against drugs in general. I'm pretty liberal when it comes to that idea. Specifically cigarettes, because cigarettes are good. Cigarettes are nice. I don't give a shit when anyone says smoking inside is nice. I wish I could do it right here. It would make it so much cooler. There's levels of cool where you're just coughing the whole time, and I'm like, yeah, but another thing, Israel's, dude, and I just have a cigarette hanging out of my mouth. That would be a fun dynamic, but unfortunately, we can't do that in this current place. But if this show ever does blow up, and I'm able to afford a sick ass studio, there's definitely going to be an air filtration system in there. Because we will be chomping cigars.
And snorting caffeine.
Hard. That's right. That's right. We're going to have... Well, they might be the ones to blow us up. Their sponsorship will get us so big.
Oh, yeah, I could see it.
Yeah. So, and there's another reason why I think that this could be the demise of France. This could be... Because as a country, we've had our problems. Okay, we've had our problems, but there's something that happened in 1971. Okay, there's a whole website called "What the Fuck Happened in 1971," and what I want to pull up. Can we pull it up? Because there's a bunch of charts. It's one of the links. Yeah, there we go. What the fuck happened in 1971? There's a bunch of charts here. So this first one, for those of you not watching, it's it's a line graph, and there's two lines, and one of them is compensation, the other one is production, and it says growth in productivity and hourly compensation since 1948. And there's at 1971, up until 1971, they're pretty even. They're on the upward incline, and they're pretty fucking even. And then it it changes completely. As time goes on, production goes up 246%, while compensation stays at, it only goes up plus 115. It doubles it, productivity. Let's go down a little bit more. These are all things that happened in 1971. That one's too fucking complicated. Income gains widely shared in early post-war decades, but not since then. So real family income in 1947. There's something that happened in 1971 that just absolutely fucked us. It's crazy. Let's keep going, because what does this one say?
Is this going to rickroll us at the end?
Yeah, imagine. Relentless 50-year decline in wages share of the economy total income. Yeah, so it's just been on a absolute downswing from them. Now, I want you to Google something for me live on the show. Look up when the United States banned cigarette commercials. This is the point I'm trying to make here.
Should I say tobacco or cigarette?
Cigarette commercials. Because, you see the data. There's a whole website dedicated to it. On April 1st, 1970, Richard Nixon signed legislation banning cigarette advertising on radio and TV in the U.S. That's pretty close. The last cigarette commercial aired on January 1st, 1971, during Johnny Carson Tonight Show. And since then, we, as the American citizen, have been getting bent over relentlessly. Look at these. There's one that's the cost of living. Let's scroll down. There's one that shows the cost of living in 1971. It's pretty far. Compared to some. Look at that. Husband only working, both spouses working. 1971. America has become a nation of dual income working couples because nobody was smoking. Nobody had any way to take any edge off the day. Keep going. It's pretty far down. Here we go. Cost of living in 1971. A new home, $25,000. Average income, $10,000 per year. New car, $3,500. Average rent, $150 a month. Tuition to Harvard University, $2,600 per year.
What?
By the way, not to go off on a tangent, Harvard is offering Taylor Swift courses now.
I saw that coming here.
Yeah,
and I was like, he might want to talk about that.
I don't even want to talk about it because I'll go out on a murderous rampage. But movie tickets $1.50 a piece, gas 40 cents, coffee 98 cents a pound, eggs 45 cents per dozen. Now let's see what it is now.
Sounds lit.
This is fantastic. People smoking cigs. Oh, okay. So it doesn't even. That's just showing what it is. Look at that. Even the price of Campbell's soup has gone up, guys. Jesus fucking Christ. This world has gone absolutely fucking sideways since cigarettes. Since we couldn't. That's why we have one. We're always advertising cigarettes on the show. Let's pull this down now. We've made the point. we are always advertising cigarettes. I don't smoke Cools, but just know that that's what that is. That's a clipping from a magazine, probably pre 1970 or 1971. So France, if you guys are listening, I don't know how many people in France listen to this show. But if you're out there, you guys need to unionize. You guys know about all that. You need to petition. This is something that cannot be done. Use us as an example.
So what was it actually?
What do you mean?
Like what is this article alluding to that happened in 1971?
I'm not sure. I think that this guy made this article, this is a whole website. It's just it's just different metrics. like economic metrics comparing, the United States pre 1971 to after.
And he doesn't have any theories, or he just showing that.
I don't know. Maybe he does. I just found the website. I had a buddy, he sent it to me a little while ago, and I'm like, wait a second. This is interesting. So my theory I've just told to you guys, but I don't know what this guy thinks. That's after the Vietnam War. When did it end? 1973 maybe, Vietnam War?
Yeah, it may have been mid-70s. So,
I mean, they were making bread. That war, they were making a lot of money. That was the whole deal there. So after that, maybe there was some problems. Maybe there were some problems after that. That is also the boomer generation. The boomer generation did ruin things once they became adults. They stopped protesting and they started working. And they remind us of that every day. We know that. But yeah, I don't know what actually happened in 1971. But if I had to guess, it had to be linked to that final Johnny Carson used to smoke on TV. He used to smoke on television. Those are the role models we need. Those are the people we need. I want to see a news anchor come on and deliver some unbiased fucking straight facts news, but they got a Marlboro in their hand. When you got a cigarette in your hand, you're playing with house money. You're playing with house money in life when you have a cigarette in your hand, because it doesn't matter what creed. This'll end the discussion of race. It'll end the discussion of gender or non-gender. All the isms, all the ists that everybody is so afraid of, they will all go away. They'll all go away if we just normalize smoking cigarettes all the time, constantly smoking
Some of these
cigarettes.
graphs are fucking nuts, though.
They are, right? They are pretty crazy. I mean, something happened in 1971, and shit just went sideways for all of us. What's this?
This one's working hours to buy a share in the S&P 500. So before 1971, it was less than a full week's pay
10
to buy
hours,
a share.
9 hours.
Now it's
less.
like 3. What is that? Is that a month? That's 4, 8, 12. Yeah, it's 3 weeks worth of pay to buy one share.
Yeah, it's crazy. It went down. It went down even more in the 80s. When consumerism was rampant, it seemed to have gone down. Some of these graphs are kind of hard to read. This guy's definitely a lunatic.
Yeah, or just I have no clue what the fuck they mean. Too.
Yeah, exactly. I was realizing it as I was trying to explain them. I'm like, these are a little tougher, but it'll all work in. I had the idea. Plus, France is supposed to be. If you can't walk around France and people aren't smoking cigarettes. And another thing, my whole argument against the banning of cigarettes is that other countries like France, who have relatively low stress lives in comparison to us and some other countries where productivity is king, I've completely lost my train of thought. They smoke cigarettes and they live probably longer than us because their lives are less stressful. That's where I was going with. Sorry. See, if I had a cigarette, bang, I'd be on it. Because
or if you snorted caffeine.
They tether you. That's true. They tether you to
Want a bump?
To reality. They tether you to reality, the cigarettes. So plus the whole productivity thing. If people aren't going out for cigarette breaks, more things are getting made. So I see what they tried to do. I see what they're trying to do to us people, and it's rampant. It's rampant and it's bad. This anti-tobacco rhetoric is pitiful. and I won't stand for it. And I stand with anyone in France who wants to get in touch in solidarity to make this not happen. Make this bullshit world that they're trying to make for us not a reality. What else do we have? We ran that into the ground. That's what's the other one? I forget. Oh, this is fun. This is a good one because this one is pretty popular. Have you seen this?
Yeah. This video's link. Oh wait, this might work. Okay.
Yeah, we're referring to the gentleman who was in Disneyland running amok. He was in Disneyland going bananas. He was on the Small World ride. Probably the most famous ride behind Space Mountain, right? It's a small world after all. Get ready for a naked guy. That's the whole thing is. See, this is why California has gotten crazy. This is crazy here in California. What's going on? They've gotten the liberal mayhem. Look at this guy. They hired this man to do this, you know?
Someone yelling, "Stop! Stop!"
There's somebody screaming, some worker. Somebody that's working there is getting underpaid. Get the fuck out of there. Or it's some tourist.
So, did he get fully nude at any point?
He did. Not in these videos.
Okay.
This is just him. For again, those not watching, he is on the It's a Small World ride. A ride for children, specifically for children. And he is walking around with the animatronics. He's in his boxers. He's got curly hair. This woman is like, fuck. We came all the way from Idaho to Disneyland. Look, I mean, he's shredded. He is shredded. He just threw his pants off to the side. That looks like the sideway in New York. The sidewalk in New York. This kid was feeling himself.
Did he have any cause he was trying to raise money for, like that other guy who said to come shoot him?
Oh, right. Abel, whatever his name is. I don't think so. I think this guy, look at this dad. He's just with the sunglasses on. He's like, I guess we got to deal with this.
The definition of a rebel without a cause.
Yeah, he's just shaking his head. This is terrible. This is terrible. We pay all this money. We come all the way out to Disneyland, and this is what fucking happens. You know how much money we had to save to come to fucking Disneyland? And there's a kid. There's a guy walking around with curly hair. That guy just...
Push the dick away.
We ate nothing but eggs and beans for months in this fucking house to go to Disneyland. And now we're here and there's a guy with Jew hair walking around in his underwear making a ruckus. And you know what? I agree with him. I hate my family. That's what that guy was thinking. That guy that was sitting there with his dad, with his kids, he's like, I sacrificed all this, and I don't even like my family. I haven't liked my family since it started. I haven't liked my wife after the first 2 years of our relationship before we even got married. I don't like anything about this right now, and I kind of feel where this guy's coming from. I didn't even want to go to Disneyland in the first place, but we had to. We had to do it because children run the world now. Children run the world. I had the kid, and she's a little autistic, so if she doesn't get what she wants, she screams really loud. So I had to work an extra 60 hours at the scrapyard and eat nothing but eggs and beans so that we could save up and go to Disneyland. And I'm supposed to be angry at this kid that's walking around naked in It's a Small World, but I wish I was with him. Because really what I want to do is take my kid and my wife and throw them in the water. I want to throw them in the water. I want to hold their heads down, which would detract from what this kid's doing. And I don't want to do that because he's going to get his 5 seconds of fame. But really what I want to do is kill my family while I sit on It's a Small World, and I'm realizing that through the lens of this kid. So that's the guy that spent too much money going to Disneyland.
He was just looking for a way out.
That's what he was thinking. But we should read a little bit of that article just to see what his motivations were. He might have something. He could have been raising money, like you said. He could have been.
I didn't see any quotes from him.
Fighting for a cause. A man at Disneyland, shocking videos. Stop, you're going to get hurt. Stop. That's what they're worried about. Stop, you're going to get hurt. Don't get hurt. Oh, God, please don't get hurt. The man pushed the boat behind them while they were on the ride. We were stuck on the ride for about an hour and 15 minutes. Wait, so he made them...
Him getting undressed wouldn't annoy me, but that would annoy me.
That's annoying. You stuck on the ride? Was it already... Were they stuck on the ride because that guy was being annoying? Because that's bullshit. I mean, why can't the ride just keep going?
Yeah.
And the security hops over, like nothing's happening. Like, it's a small world, and he's tasing him. You know, he's tasing the fucking guy. And the kids are just like, well, all right. And the parents are, well, it's better than him walking around naked. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to go in. I mean, Disneyland is already a horrible institution, you know. I mean, it's kind of fun when you're a kid. It might be fun as an adult. Are you a Disney adult?
No, I haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah.
But I would go.
I feel the
like
same
Epcot
way.
And do like drinking around the world and all that.
Yeah.
It's a different experience, isn't it? All I think.
Sure. I do. I feel
Star Wars stuff.
I could get behind some of it, you know. I could get behind some of it, especially getting naked at a ride, you know. That big ball at Epcot. That thing is sick. Have you gone on that ride? You know the ball I'm referring to, right? It's like a big golf ball.
Yeah. I didn't know it was a ride.
It is a ride. It's sick. You go in there and you go through like the evolution of humans and the evolution of the earth and shit.
Oh, so you start naked. And you
Yeah. You start naked and then at the end you walk out and you're trans. you walk out and they chemically castrate you throughout the ride. You don't even realize it. Yeah, no, I mean, what would be interesting is if this guy paid money to get in. I want to know more about this guy. I don't know if, I'm sure they didn't spend the time to see what's up with him. But he's a young kid. He's 26. You know, come on, cut him some slack. He's young. How long before you can say that's an excuse? I think
being young?
Yeah, right. I think 26
26 is probably the cutoff.
That's probably it, right? Now it's, if he did it at 27, then it's like, okay, kid, there's something wrong with you. You know, 26, you want to be a pedophile, you can do it up until 26. Once you keep going, it gets too much. You know, I mean, this guy probably fucked himself for a while.
Oh, I got one of them fully naked.
Fully naked. I don't know. Can we show that?
They blur it.
Oh, they blur it. Okay.
At least on the thumbnail they did.
Okay. So these are the ones that we already saw. Oh, here he is. Look at that. He's in the tunnel. He's in the water. Look at this guy.
He was
Look, and there's just some... There's
He's
somebody
going
screaming at him, hey, what are you doing? And they pull him out naked. I mean, what are you going to do? Look how they're dragging him. Oh, my God. They're holding him by both his legs. They're holding him like luggage.
For them. He's just making them carry him.
What a weird bastard, huh? I love how the next thing was rainy jazz compilation.
I like to sleep to stuff like that, so that's what came up.
I just hit myself in the teeth with this thing and then banged my head on this concrete mantle behind me. Yeah. No, I don't know. I guess Disney. That is the one in California. They're getting a little too. Everyone knows California's super duper liberal, right? They're getting carried away. They're like, don't worry, that guy is part of the ride.
Maybe it's because in their water supply, supposedly, there's fentanyl.
Interesting.
Because, like...
in Florida?
They're giving out these testing strips for all the people who do cocaine
Sure.
to test their cocaine.
Yep.
So, say you swipe your cocaine, it turns blue if it has fentanyl in it. Then you take your cocaine and you flush it down the toilet. That was like, I think that was like the evolution of like the whole cocaine bear thing.
Right.
Like all the animals in like southern and central California are like on fentanyl right now.
That's scary. I don't know if it gets scarier than that. Animals,
I
bears.
could just be repeating a total conspiracy.
Well,
but
we can look it up. Totally. That's the beauty of this fucking thing. Also, I think Cocaine Bear was a real story. Like, they were dropping off drugs from a plane, and it got stuck or they dropped it off in the wrong spot, and it was in the woods, and a bear ate a bunch of it, and it was just roaming around, totally on drugs. That is scary, though. Then it would make sense. I mean, California. I just said I don't love the idea of legislating against drugs, and California's kind of, they're doing it that way. They're kind of going that route, but they do have open air heroin dens and open air drug markets. It's the byproduct, I would suppose, of being liberal on drugs. You would hope that people would have the decency to tie one off in their own homes, To tie one off in their own home. Go home. Go home and do it. Come on, go home. They pay you in California to be homeless.
not finding anything to verify this.
Okay. So it was just make
Sounded
believe.
fucking cool.
It sounds fun, though. That sounds fun. George Carlin had this bit about the world kind of ending in this crazy, cataclysmic, goofy story. And there's a part where there's a big fire that breaks out. It's a nationwide fire, and it starts blowing up the underground meth labs in the Midwest. And then all the meth starts running down into the creeks and the rivers, and all the animals just drink from it.
He wasn't a comedian. He was a prophet.
And that's right. He was a philosopher. He's one of the only ones where you can actually say that there's like things. People like to say to comedians that they're the last line of defense for freedom of speech. He's kind of like one of the only ones you can do that with, I feel. Like, I get what people are saying, but most of the time, comedians are using that freedom of speech to talk about cum. They're usually doing it to talk about coming and shitting and fucking people and not fucking people and jerking off and murdering people. And George Carlin was one of the ones who used it for both, at least, for good ideas and for coming. And I think that's nice. So I agree with you. That he was a prophet in some sense.
He was like modern Nostradamus.
Yeah, he predicted it all. He predicted it all, guys.
Him and I've been watching a bunch of old of his shit, and Hedberg too. Mitch Hedberg,
fantastic. He was the king of one-liners that had nothing to do with anything.
And he just not rapid fire, just nonstop the whole night.
Looking down on heroin, like not even looking at the audience, with sunglasses on, just looking down, making people laugh. That's great. There's something romantic about that.
One-line jokes or like old comedy?
No. Heroin addict.
Making people laugh.
Heroin addict artists, That's like the thing. There's a friend that I have in Rhode Island who's a comedian. His name's Dylan, and he does heroin.
Heroin.
And he and I admire him for it, because there's a part of me that thinks it's really cool, and it's bad, right? It's not good.
No, it's terrible.
It's awful. Don't do heroin for the sake of the aesthetic of being a troubled artist. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Smoke cigarettes instead. That's another way you can do it, and it's a much tamer way. But don't do heroin unless you want to and it's really good. Like, if it's really good, you have to do it, right? If it's like, if the guy, like if Snoop Dogg came up to you and was like, hey, we got to smoke a blunt, you're going to say yes, even though I know you don't smoke. You won't do it?
No.
You wouldn't do it?
No, I still won't.
Is there anyone for you? I know you don't smoke weed, but is there someone that he's like, what about Seth Rogen? I feel like you'd smoke with Seth Rogen.
Nah.
No? Damn. There's nobody.
Because I feel like both of them wouldn't respect me if they then found out it was my first time ever doing it.
You think?
Yeah.
All right.
Or maybe they get that delight of popping people's cherries.
Yeah. That would be cool. So there's nobody. But there's people you drink with.
Yeah, anyone. Pretty much anyone.
Pretty much anyone. There's no one on, like, the top. Like, I want to sit down with this like, alcoholic. You know what I'm saying? Like a guy who drinks. But he's, like, famous as fuck for drinking.
That hasn't gotten sober?
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like when Matthew Perry was alive, I know you'd want to
Oh, yeah, get in the hot tub with him.
get drunk as fuck with Matthew Perry.
Who would be cool? Maybe like Bert Kreischer.
There you go. There's one. Perfect. He's like an alcoholic. And if he's like, let's have a drink,
Yeah, you have to.
you're going to do it.
Or Dave Attell.
Dave Attell, another one. I think he's clean now.
Oh,
or
is he
Ron
sober?
White. Ron White back in the day. He doesn't drink either anymore.
He's sober too?
Yeah.
Yeah. He has tequila and he's sober?
He goes on stage with a fake drink. Yeah. And his tequila is very expensive. It's like high-end fucking...
Yeah, he's a private jet and shit. He's balling.
Yeah, he's sick. Ron White's sick. But those guys, they want to drink. You drink with them. So if, like, Kurt Cobain was still alive or Mitch Hedberg was still alive...
Yeah, here's that needle.
He's like, let's do a little heroin. You're going to say, yeah. And he's like, this is the best heroin. This is from Afghanistan. This is, like, top quality, off-the-plane heroin. This is the stuff that they give
Elevators cannot break.
They give
They
pharmaceutical...
can only become stairs.
Yeah.
The sign should have said, sorry for the convenience.
Yeah.
Temporarily stairs.
I don't like wearing turtlenecks because I feel like I'm getting strangled by a really weak guy. Yeah, he's great. He was great. I'd do heroin with him. Yeah, I've upgraded now. We got a timer on the phone. You see that?
Nice.
I feel like it's good because then you show me that and I can barely see it sometimes. Now I got to be like, so what time?
Usually when I point to it, we're close.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to be a cooler aesthetic artist, you got to do a little heroin. In some sense. I don't know. I feel like the people who make the coolest shit are typically fucked up on drugs. You know? That's like a romantic sentiment, I think. Even if it's not...
There's some outliers to it.
Yeah.
Like Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift isn't on drugs. She should be. We've gone
Her
over
stuff
it.
would be so much cooler.
That's what I'm saying, dude. She's the only one who hasn't had a drug phase. Have a drug phase. Kanye.
He might be on Adderall. Or something.
Well, when he's not on drugs, when he's not on the meds that they give him, that's when he says he makes his best stuff. So it might actually be good for him to not be on drugs, except for like maybe some weed. So he's another one of those cases. You might be right. But a lot of the time, you want to be, Richard Pryor smoked crack. Come on.
That's probably why Billy Joel hasn't recorded a song in 30 years.
Oh, God. There's a guy we can shit on. I don't fuck with Billy Joel,
Just
dude.
getting blasted for...
Do you like Billy Joel?
He's got some bops.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can't deny some of his songs.
Just can't, sweep all his DWIs every summer under the rug, though.
That's true. He gets hammered. He gets fucked up. Is that his thing?
Yeah.
Damn.
He's a boozer.
Yeah, huh? Why not? When you're Billy Joel, you might as well. What's the dude? Stephen King. He was on drugs for a long time.
He
Writing
does
all those
hard
books.
drugs, right?
Stephen King?
Yeah, I think he does gnarly drugs.
I don't think he does anymore. But I know for a while he did a lot of coke. And he said there was one book that he didn't remember writing. I forgot what it was.
That's probably like his best one.
Yeah. Authors love to get drunk.
He writes like 3 books a week, though.
Yeah, yeah. Charles Bukowski, another one, who is a prolific drunk, Kerouac. They're all cool, guys. They're all cool. Moral of the story is, be addicted. Today's message is to be addicted. You got to be addicted to a substance specifically. Specifically, something. Chase the dragon. There's nothing better in this life that you can do than find a dragon and continuously chase it. Let it be the source of your happiness. Let it be the source of your life. The light that lighting a cigarette will bring. Cupping your hands around a Marlboro Red. You know, cupping it in the cold. Sitting out there, smoking it to the filter. That's the best part of the day sometimes. Sometimes you wake up and you're like, I can't wait to smoke a cigarette later. You know? And if it's not a cigarette, have it be something else. Have it be taking a big whack off a meth pipe. Maybe it's the end of the day you're taking. It was a long day. You take a little meth. Take a little meth to relax. You know, that's what it does for you now. It reversed. It's
Snort your caffeine, too.
snort the I wanna bump, and really get addicted to something, guys. That's how we're gonna end the show today. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week. Peace.